We need to stop glorifying bad behavior. We need to stop glorifying death. And that's what obesity is. It's death.
Do you think obesity is complicated?
No. I don't. I think obesity is pretty simple. People are eating too much and doing too little. Now, there's a difference between preventing obesity and making people optimal and jacked. But I mean, I think it's a pretty easy. Now, there's a difference between fat, overweight, and obese. Obese is obese. And that's the epidemic we're in right now. And most people you see are walking around obese. We are a fat country, and the great fattening of 2020, where everybody stayed home. So the government shut down gyms, yet they delivered liquor and food to people's houses. It's almost like they wanted us to, I'm not by any means doing that conspiracy theory thing, but if I was an alien, I dropped down here, I'm like, you did what? Y'all just wanted people to get fat. And I think that obesity is a simple thing that is very hard to actually implement how to fix it. And the reason is people are lazy and people like processed foods because it triggers this whole array of emotions and everything from the olfactory, the smell of the food, to the taste, to the remembering that mac and cheese your mom made when you were a kid, or maybe you had a situation you weren't feeling so well, your girlfriend broke up with you and nothing made you feel better than going to Boston Market and getting their mac and cheese. So there's all these emotional attachments. So the answer to obesity is pretty friggin' simple. The implementation of curing obesity is extremely hard because we're up against big food and we're up against big pharma. If you're dead, you don't make them money. If you're healthy, you don't make them money. They want you just sick enough to need their pills and their potions and all that stuff. They want you sick. They do not want us. It is financially negative for them. It is a financial detriment. People like us are financial detriments, except for the testosterone manufacturers. They're making a ton of cash on us. No, except for Nsima. He still pretends he's an Addy.
I hate you so much. I'm trying to find this clip from 60 Minutes where I don't know if you guys saw, but this lady was saying that obesity is genetic. I'm trying to find this clip.
And now she's on the government's board of dietetics.
I would like to. I'd like to add like the common thread among once somebody gets to be obese, I think that starts to get complex because of many life experiences. Like when you're young, you may have been the fat kid and so on. And like, there just might be a lot of baggage with that. There might be a lot of mental capacity that it might be easy for some of us to say, you got to eat better and but they are literally like paralyzed by some of their own thoughts. And I can be open and honest and say that I've been paralyzed by my own thoughts before, felt disempowered, from my own thoughts or didn't believe in myself enough to do something. So I can understand once you get into that situation, how it can be kind of complex, even though they know and we know that some changes in the food that you eat and some changes to your daily habits, you moving more, would be a great idea, but maybe they're just stuck in this loop that's very hard to get out of. I'll finish before we play this clip. The one thing that ties every obese person together is the same thing that ties everyone together that gains body fat in the first place. And it's what I've been talking about for years, and I say it time and time and time and time again, but it doesn't seem to stick. It's your food choices.
Yes.
It's your food choices. It's your food choices. If you only had access to fish and meat and vegetables, that would help auto-regulate your satiety signals, your hunger signals, your cravings. It would help with everything. I realize that this is a made-up world that I just made up where you only got like meat, vegetables, and eggs, and you put them on repeat.
Yes.
You would lose a lot of weight because protein is going to be the thing that helps keep those hunger signals down. And over time, you will start to eat less and less energy. Energy, again, comes from fat and carbohydrates, not so much from protein.
You couldn't be more correct, and I couldn't agree with you more. It's when I first started modeling when I was 21, I was getting ready for a photo shoot for Men's Fitness, and it was pretty simple. I just ate chicken and veggies, and I got shredded. When I travel, and I'm not interested. I'm not trying to bulk, so I'm not worried about I need white rice. White rice, if you think about it, is kind of stupid. There's no micronutrients. It's just glucose.
Just some carbs.
So like yesterday, I'm at the airport. I actually filmed it. I'm going to do it was just a place I always go to at Terminal 5 LAX called, I think it's Donbury, and you get the teriyaki bowl. You just get the steamed veggies and double chicken. It's expensive as hell, but think about it. I'm getting all protein and veggies.
Yeah.
If you want to lose weight, eat whatever meat you want. Of course, don't cook it with breading and stuff, but eat ribeye, eat steak, eat pork. Of course, except for the Jews and Muslims, they can't have that. So eat anything, any of those proteins. So hell, even get a whey protein powder or your shake or your steak shake. Perfect. And eat veggies.
And you'll feel full. Like,
and you will
overeat that shit if you want.
Dude, eat all so I eat probably a pound of carrots a day. Woo! I love carrots. They satiate me. My poop comes out phenomenal. It's a great fiber source, great source of vitamin A. I eat the hell out of carrots because I digest them easy. Learned that again from Stan Efferding, from his vertical diet.
Yeah.
A diet that at first I'm like, why would you eat rice? And now I'm like, oh, his diet's actually one of the best diets on the market if you're looking for a packaged diet. It's fantastic. The vertical diet is, I was like, this diet stew. I did videos on it. And then I'm like, I retract everything I said. My bad.
Let's go.
Dude, but here's the thing. Like, I will call stuff out if I'm wrong. Lane just did a post about Lane Norton. He did a post about this. Lane was like, I've been wrong about boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, well, shit, yeah. We shouldn't believe the same thing we believed 20 years ago. It evolves. Like, it worked, but can we do better? Can we do better? So I've learned a lot. So I've implemented, like I said, I'm not doing the vertical diet, but I have a component of carrots. I learned about carrots from the vertical diet.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things where if you simply take out, and carbs are fine. I love carbs. If you simply take out the simple carbs and you eat meat and veggies, you're going to get results and they're going to be really good. You don't have to measure anything. Obviously it's not going to be optimal. You're not going to get in great condition, but dude, you're going to be better than 99% of people. But again, the media and big pharma, who pays 70% of the media's bills, 70% of their income is from big pharma. They want you sick and they want you weak.
One of the reasons why Stan recommends rice is just the ability to digest it. So because it doesn't have much in it, most people can digest it. People have allergens and trouble digesting corn and beans and a bunch of other flour and things like that. But white rice, most people are like, yeah, I can eat that. One of the issues is that it can encourage you to eat like more than you probably should in a given meal. So if you're somebody that is trying to regulate your body weight, then you just might need to be cautious on how much rice you eat.
I think that diet started out for athletes. So athletes normally have trouble getting in enough food. So again, I ate shit on that one because I was wrong, 100% wrong. And I personally apologize. Don't think to him, but his guy. I'm like, bro, I reached out. I'm like, my bad. Did a public apology because I jumped the gun. And I do that a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm always willing to be like, oh, my bad. So again, there's certain things I've been wrong about. And that was one.
Power Project family, how's it going? So no matter what diet you're on or no matter what supplements you take, it's necessary as you get older to know what's going on under the hood. That's why I've partnered with Merrick Health. They're the premium telehealth clinic owned by Derek from More Plates, More Dates. And we have a panel that will allow you to get all of your labs done and checked in a super easy fashion. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yeah, you guys got to head over to merrickhealth.com/power project. That's MAREK health.com/power project. And at checkout, enter promo code power project to save $101 off of this comprehensive panel. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes. When do you guys think it's appropriate for like the meal, that example that you gave in the airport, just veggies and double protein?
Yep.
I'm assuming that was cooked in some sort of sauces and oils or anything like that?
You get it with no sauce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to, I have it ready to share as a reel today, but I'm like, I'm going to start documenting what I eat because people have trouble figuring out what to eat. Like, I'm obviously not going to bring more business to Terminal 5 LAX, but it shows you that if you go to Flame Broiler, you could do the same thing. If you go to Chipotle, if you can't follow your diet at Chipotle, you need to fall off the face of this earth. They got grilled onions and peppers. They got chicken and steak. And then you get the salad bowl. You could eat all the salad bowls from Chipotle you want and get shredded. It's literally meat and very little sauce or no sauce. I mean, it's just grilled in whatever they grill it in. And there you go. And throw some pico and corn on there and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And you get corny poop.
That's always fun to see. It's a nice little dressing that you
confetti.
can look at. Yeah.
A little dressing on
Throw a
top.
little bit of pumpkin seeds in there.
Oh God, that's
Let's
disgusting.
see what we got.
Well, we
here.
started there. We might as well go back.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready for this?
Ready.
I like her lipstick.
Mhm.
Matches her
If
dress.
you diet, you lose weight, right?
The number one cause of obesity is genetics. That means if you are born to parents that have obesity, you have a 50 to 85% likelihood of having the disease yourself, even with optimal diet, exercise, sleep management, stress management. So when people see families that have obesity, the assumption is, what are they feeding those kids?
Real quick.
She had me for a second there.
She said optimal diet and exercise. Because if we think about her statement, if we really just listen to what she said, she is right in a way, right? Not optimal diet and exercise, but these parents who are obese, they have bad habits. They probably have the wrong food in the environment. They've probably tried to help their kid lose weight, but they don't have the habits themselves.
Yeah, I would say that this would be similar to like religion. You know, we found that 50 to 80% of Catholics came from Catholic backgrounds.
There we go.
Because it's a meme that's passed on. It's a propagation of a thought process, not so much these people, they're not making the big changes. They are developing similar habits to mom and dad is what I think.
If you want to do a field trip, let's go to Walmart. Let's go to Walmart.
That's where I saw you a few years ago.
Yeah, it was-
First time.
it was
Met
great.
you in a Walmart.
Hey, how are you doing, man? Yeah, I love Walmart, by the way. You know how much? So inflation hasn't affected me. I shop at Walmart. It's still cheap as hell. Like, yeah, we do. Yeah, we grocery shop at Walmart, Aldi, and Costco. That's our big three. But anyway, so here's the thing. Go to Walmart, look in the carts. The reason fat people are having fat kids is because they're eating like their fat parents and instilling those habits. And as you get fat, your body develops new fat cells. So you have these fat kids, they're developing, they're basically, the fat is just dividing and dividing and dividing and dividing. So they have more fat cells, they're able to get fatter. And then they grow up and they have the same habits and they have insulin resistance and they just have no exercise habits and they're fat. So it's nature versus nurture. They're genetically fat because they're genetically eating what their fat genetic parents are feeding them.
But
There's another genetic component to it where it's believed that you can affect 5 to 7 generations downward from you. So in terms of like where my genes were at
Yeah.
when I had my kids, they might have a propensity to be obese a little bit more than someone else, even though my wife wasn't heavy, but I was kind of heavy at the time. There's some genes in my family where people are, again, these aren't people that are like eating properly either. So, you know, it's probably a small factor that there's a genetic component in there, but it probably is a factor. So I think it's a combination of multiple things going on, but I couldn't agree more that it starts and it ends with the habits. If you have good habits on the food choices that you have and you have good habits with your movement, you will not be fat.
You were fat. I was fat. We're not fat anymore. How do we do that? We change lifestyle.
Right.
And there's ways to mitigate insulin resistance and all these different things through diet. Like we were talking before about even things that you did for lactose intolerance and IBS. Food can be medicine. And it can be a cure. And exercise, you talk about insulin resistance. Here's a good way to get rid of that. Exercise. You know, look at what Efforting does with the 10-minute walks, right? Look at all these different things, and that's not a scientific advancement. And that used to be like, people think about it. If you work construction, you eat lunch, you go back to building shit. Like they're fine, their insulin resistance is fine. So you look at what we're putting these children through, and we look at the fact that right now, you literally took away sports in 2020 for the greater good, right? I say that like this.
Yeah.
You know, you took away sports. And a lot of these kids never came back. And also remember, like you look at the holiday weight gain studies, people gain weight during the holidays and they don't lose it, but they don't gain much. It's only like 4 to 6 pounds. It wasn't anything crazy, but they do it every year. So after 10 years, that's 40 pounds. Yeah. So you look at the accumulation effect of what they're doing. So it's a bad head start. Like we talked about generational wealth earlier. if you start with $1 million, like it's really easier to make more millions of dollars if you do it correctly, right? If you start with $0, you have to get to that million first.
Yeah.
So if you get your kids with a horrible start versus someone with a head start and being healthy and having the habits, they're more likely to be overweight. Now, the difference genetically isn't that you can't lose weight with optimal diet, training, and sleep. It just means that it might be a little bit harder. As someone who coaches a ton of people, I have online coaching. I have some people who I can literally, cut whipped cream out of their diet and they'll lose 20 pounds. I have other people who are literally on 800 calories and you're like, then you have to utilize diet breaks and refeeds and all these different things just because that's how their body is.
Yeah.
And people have different metabolic adaptations, different metabolisms, different genetics, different thyroids, different everything. So everybody's individual. But the one thing we know is that if you're eating in a caloric deficit, you're not going to be on my 600-pound life.
When I heard that clip and I saw that clip, it kind of made me think about, my mom, when she was raising me, she always let me know what the statistics of fatherless children were.
Really?
Because my dad wasn't there. So she always let me know what those statistics were, but she always let me know that also, you're not a statistic. There are ways that you can not end up in this position, ways that you can work, places where we can put you as far as education. Like, you don't have to end up this way. It's all about the choices you decide to make. Now, the problem that I see here is that there are statistics when it comes to obesity in children, especially having obese parents and having a higher propensity of being obese. But the problem is that this takes away the power from those people who are obese. It gives them a scapegoat. Because one of my reasons my mom did that to me is because she didn't want me to ever say the reason why I am the way I am is because I didn't have a father. And when you look at this, it will allow some individuals to say the reason why I am the way I am is because these are my genes. It's an easy scapegoat for potentially the lack of education, the lack of dealing with your environment, the lack of work on your end to stop the fat gain. And it's harsh, but it's true.
Yeah, I think we all have our own adversity to overcome.
Yeah.
And one adversity is having too much stuff. Like we talk rich kid syndrome, right? So we all have adversity. It's just a matter of what you're dealing with, what your adversity is to overcome. And it might be a slower metabolism, but it still can be overcome.
Yes.
It might be a propensity to be addicted to drugs or alcohol or whatever. And that's something that you need to overcome. So it might be harder than it is. Like it's going to be harder for me to shoot a basketball than LeBron. It's going to be harder for, a normal guy off the street to build muscle. Like probably all three of us I'd say we all have pretty good muscle building genetics, right? We're not Phil Heath, but we're okay. So we're always going to have, something to overcome. And the thing is, be the best you that you can be. And we're not asking people, or I'm not, when I say don't be fat, it doesn't mean be jacked. It doesn't mean be 3% body fat or even 10. Don't be 50, be healthy. And I can't imagine how bad these people feel when they wake up in the morning. Like their normal is my worst day ever. I want to die. Their normal, the inflammation, the pain, systemic. Have you seen what obesity does to your body, the inflammatory markers, everything's harder. Nothing works right. Erectile dysfunction. Those are all things that stem from obesity. And it's the comorbidity for everything from heart disease to even cancer is more likely if you're fat. So when I tell people to not be fat, it's not because I'm not in fat acceptance. No, it's because I don't want people to die.
Yeah.
I don't want you to live an uncomfortable life. You see that Glamour magazine with the fat chick, like, this is healthy. No, it's not. Stop this. We need to stop glorifying gluttony. We need to stop glorifying bad behavior. We need to stop glorifying death. And that's what obesity is. It's death. It is a certain painful, long, drawn out death. You're gonna die.
Hey, baby. I'm joking. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, and head to the Power Project Discord, all right? I know you enjoyed the video. Speak to y'all soon.